Hi boys and girls, today's lesson is on mixed numbers to fractions greater than 1, which are also known as improper fractions. So we're going to rename fractions and mixed numbers. Today's lesson is only going to be renaming mixed numbers as fractions greater than 1. So today we're focusing on renaming mixed numbers as fractions greater than 1. So go ahead and take notes on this page, pause the video. A mixed number is a number represented by a whole number and a fraction. You can write a mixed number as a fraction. So here's an example of a mixed number. So we can write a mixed number as a fraction, and we're going to learn how to do that today. So here's our problem we're going to solve. Mr. Fox has 2 3/6 loaves of cornbread. Each loaf was cut into 1/6 size pieces. If he has 14 people over for dinner, is there enough cornbread for each person to have one piece? So we're trying to figure out, will he have 14 1/6 size pieces of that cornbread? So to find out how many 1/6 size pieces are in 2 3/6, we're going to write 2 3/6 as a fraction. So here's step 1, and I see the pencil at the top of the page, so you may pause the video and draw a quick model and record the information that I'm recording. So step 1, okay, we have 2 3/6. Well, what do I know about a whole? Because the number 2 in this number is a whole number. If we're talking about sixths, because we have 3/6, then one whole would be 6/6. Another whole, because we have 2 wholes, would be another 6/6. And then at the end here, we have 3/6 left over. So one whole is 6/6 because we're talking about the fraction 3/6. 2 wholes would be 6/6, another 6/6 that is, and then the 3/6 remaining. Okay, now find out how many 1/6 size pieces there are in the whole. So we have 6/6 plus 6/6, that was your 2 wholes, 1 whole, 2 wholes, and then we had 3/6. All right, so 2 3/6, this is what we had on the page prior. 2 3/6 really equals 6 plus 6 plus 3. So 6 and 6 is 12, 13, 14, 15 sixths. So there are 15 1/6 size pieces in 2 3/6. So that would mean that there is enough bread for 14 people to have one piece, because you'll actually have one 1/6 size piece left over. So to note or to spot an improper fraction or a fraction greater than 1, as we've discussed before, you'll notice that the top number is larger than the bottom number. So let's try one together. So you guys can do this with me, because the next one I'd like you to try on your own. So we have 2 7/10. So if we're talking about the fraction 7/10, we're talking about fractions being the tenths. So if we have 2 wholes and 7/10, that means we have, here's 1 whole, 10/10. Here's another whole, another 10/10, because like I said, we had 2 wholes. And then we have 7/10. So then we're just going to add the numerators. Remember, when we're adding, the denominator remains the same. So we have 10 plus 10 plus 7. So 10 plus 10 is 20. 20 plus 7 is 27 tenths. Okay, so 2 and 7/10 really equals 27/10. And again, spotting an improper fraction or that fraction greater than 1, you'll always know because that top number is larger than the bottom number. Now I would like for you to try. So 3 and 2/3, okay? What would that be written as a fraction greater than 1? Remember, this time you have 3 wholes, and you're talking about a fraction that has a denominator of 3. So what would 1 whole be if we're talking about thirds? Then we have 3 wholes and 2/3. So pause the video, see if you can figure this one out, and then check your answer. So we have 1 whole, which would be 3/3. Remember, when the top and bottom number are the same, you have a whole. 3 out of 3 is 1 whole. And the reason it's 3/3 is because the denominator on this fraction is thirds. So that's 1 whole. Here's 2 wholes. Here's 3 wholes. Okay, and then we have our 2/3. So we have 3, 6, 9. 9 plus 2 is 11 thirds. So 3 and 2/3 is equivalent to 11 thirds when we rename that mixed number as a fraction. Okay, on this slide, I'm going to show you another way we can figure this out. If you prefer the other way, that's fine. This way is just a little bit quicker. So 4 and 2/5, if we were to do it the way we just learned, we would have fifths being the denominator. So one whole number would be 5/5 plus 5/5 plus 5/5 plus 5/5 plus 2/5. So we would have 5, 10, 15, 20, 22/5. But here's a shorter way to figure this out. We can simply, instead of writing 5/5 plus 5/5 plus 5/5 plus 5/5, we can just look at this mixed number, the whole part, and just do 4 times 5. And 4 times 5 is 20. And then 20 plus 2, because isn't that what we did here? We did 5, 10, 15, 20, and then 20 plus 2. So we're doing the same thing in a shorter way. So we're saying 4 times 5 is 20. 20 plus 2 is 22. And then we're talking about the denominator being fifths, because that's what's there. So let's try another one like that. Okay, so let's say we have 6 and 4/5. Okay, so we're still talking about fifths again on this one. Instead of saying 5/5 plus 5/5 plus 5/5 plus 5/5 6 times, that's going to take me a long time. I can simply say 6 times 5, and that's 30. And then you want to do 30 plus the numerator is 34. And we're talking about the denominator being 5. So 6 and 4/5 is really 34/5. Okay, and before we go, let's just try 2 on your own, using that method or that strategy. So let's start with 3 and 2/6, and let's go with 5 and 3/8. Okay, so remember, instead of doing 6/6 plus 6/6 plus 6/6 plus 2/6, we can do 3 times 6 plus 2 more. So 3 times 6 is 18, plus 2 more is 20, and we're talking about sixths. So 3 and 2 sixths really equals 26ths. Okay, pause the video and you try the next one. Look at this model as you're trying to figure it out. Okay, so hopefully we did 5 times 8, which is 40, and then 40 plus 3 more is 43, and we are talking about the denominator being 8, 43/8. All right, good luck, my friends, and use either strategy, whichever one works for you and makes the most sense. See you tomorrow.